opened it. We came.
It's just a puzzle box!
Oh no. It is a means to summon us.
Hi there. We're going to cover The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker this week. I'm mainly covering this book because I want to discuss my all-time favorite 80s horror icon, Pinhead. But I want to cover the book because that was actually where Pinhead got his start. What is the book about? If you've seen the first movie, you know what the book's about. Frank is dragged to another dimension of extreme experiences. He escapes. He tries to get a woman that he cheated with that's now married to his brother to help him. She kills people to feed him so he can rebuild himself. And he attempts to escape until the servants of that dimension called the Cenobites come to drag him back to that dimension. You will notice I kept on saying that dimension rather than hell, and I'll explain why later. That's just a really quick plot synopsis. It's only about 100 pages long, a little bit more. I kind of forget how many pages. I think it's like maybe 110 at the most. Is it worth reading? Yeah. I've never been incredibly impressed by Clive Barker's writing. I think he's an incredibly good idea person. I don't like his writing that much just because he tends to be a little bit too taken with creating modern adult fairy tales as opposed to creating actually good writing. His characters do tend to be single dimension characters. But I mean, it's worth reading. If you like Clive Barker, it's a definite read. And if you like Clive Barker, you've already read this book. But if you haven't read Clive Barker, it's a good introduction to his style. I would say pick it up. It's probably a weekend read for most people. Even if you read slowly, it's like a 2 or 3 day read. So just go ahead and pick it up. Might as well. I would suggest just watching the first movie to myself. Now, why did I want to discuss this book? It's because I really love Pinhead. He has been my all-time favorite 80s horror icon. You will notice I also said 80s horror icon, not monster or villain. There's a reason for that, too. So let's discuss the world that Pinhead and the Cenobites inhabit. Why did I say exhibit? Well, I'll leave that in. In the world of the Hellbound Heart, there are people that want to experience extreme experiences. They want extreme pleasure. They want extreme experiences. Think people that look at bungee jumping and say, well, that's boring. I want more. That is a problem because they find in the movies, it's always the lament configuration. It's always a puzzle box. It's a series of puzzle boxes that were created long ago that people solve. They become obsessed with it. They solve it. And then they're granted access to this other dimension. In the book, it can be anything that can engender obsession. Could be a crossword puzzle. Could be a wooden puzzle that you put together. It could be somebody you're obsessed with, that, you know, some sort of like pop icon. It doesn't really matter. It's just giving you an avenue to express your obsession. Obsession is always the entry point to wanting to experience more and more and more. When you solve the lament configuration in the movies or in the book, in come the Cenobites. The Cenobites, led by Pinhead in the movies, although Pinhead is really just a very minor character in the book, they collect you and they take you back to their dimension that they call the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth is ruled over by a god called Leviathan. Leviathan is more, the labyrinth is not hell. Okay, let's just get that out of the way right now. People consistently, especially in the later movies, make this mistake that the labyrinth is hell and the Cenobites drag you to hell. They don't. They don't care about heaven and hell. Leviathan is a Lovecraftian elder god of experience, of extreme experience, extreme pleasure, extreme pain. And in Leviathan's view, there is no difference between extreme pain and extreme pleasure. It's all just extreme experiences. Pinhead is just a minor functionary, basically middle management. He manages the Cenobites, but he answers to Leviathan. Yeah, this is a very weird thing. But this is one of the things I always wanted to discuss. The labyrinth is not hell, as I said. The Cenobites are not demons. They are apart from that. When people ask for extreme experiences, the Cenobites and Leviathan grant those experiences. Here's the thing. Extreme pleasure and extreme pain are the same thing when they get to their extremes. You can experience the greatest pleasure ever and it becomes painful. Or you can experience the greatest pain ever and it becomes pleasurable for some people. That's something that human beings do not understand and never will understand because it's just beyond human understanding, which is the reason why I'm saying that Leviathan is a Lovecraftian elder god. That's the cosmic horror of this. Pinhead is not a demon. He is not from hell. He doesn't care about good and evil. He is a functionary that delivers what people have asked for. Just because that becomes a horrible permanent torture for all eternity, he doesn't really care. It's not really his place to decide whether or not that's right or wrong. He just has rules that he follows. He shows up. He gives people what they ask for. That's one of the things where the movies start to get wrong, starting roughly about the third movie in. They start treating the Pinhead and the Cenobites as demons from hell, and they're not. Pinhead doesn't care about churches. He doesn't care about crosses. He doesn't care about priests. He doesn't care about black magic, voodoo rituals. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. None of that stuff matters to him. He just cares about doing his job. And he cares about imposing the order of extreme experience on those who ask for it. And that's the scary thing. That's why, in my opinion, the Hellraiser movies, at least the first two, are actually kind of scary. It's not because of the extreme gore, although the movies do have extreme gore. It's not because of the jump scares, because honestly, jump scares never impressed me at all. It's the fact that what the book and the movie is saying is, by coming to this movie or reading this book, you're asking for an experience. And that's the scary thing, because you're falling into the same trap that all the people that solve the lament configuration fall into. And that if anything like this could exist, you're opening yourself to it. That's kind of what the story is trying to do. Kind of hard to explain, but I admit, but it's well worth thinking about. Basically, it's saying, you can be repulsed by this, but you paid to see it. You are having fun seeing it. So take that for what it's worth. I'm going to sign off now. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. Stay positive. Bye-bye.